So you've read the latest book and you've spent all that time doing the highlights, but how do you actually put it into practice? This has been one of the things I've struggled with the most, is that I read a lot, but yet it has been such a difficult task to put everything I've learned into practice. I've tried all the different techniques I've read online, such as highlighting and taking detailed notes. I've gone so far as into having little bookmarks placed all across the different key chapters, key learnings. And for this book here, I've even gone to the extent where at the end of every single chapter, I would handwrite my key learnings, all in hopes that I would go back, reread it, and put it into practice. The difficulty is that I read a lot of books, and you probably do too. You won't have enough time to go back to review the highlights every single week or every single month. Instead, what I needed to do was to find a much more efficient and faster way to be able to review the notes I had and to be able to apply to a new context. So I've created a brand new system. This system is what I'm going to share with you now. The great thing about this system is that it will take you around 15 to 20 minutes to implement for yourself. And once you have the system, not only will you be able to take all the notes that you want from the readings that you have, but also from things like podcasts and different news articles that you read online as well. Not only will you be able to have a place to centralize and keep all your highlights, you'll be able to start to talk with it and start to actually converse and debate with the book itself. It'll completely change the way that you're able to learn, to absorb new knowledge.
So how does this all work?
The first part is the extraction. So the system extracts all the highlights that you have from books that you read, from the videos, from the podcasts that you listen to. Your second step is synthesis, is that it brings together all the different highlights that you have and putting it into a single location. And step 3 is about creation, where you take the highlights and you start to interact with it and create brand new things, such as LinkedIn articles or summaries. You can even include it into emails, tweets, whatever you want to do. It allows you to interact with the highlights that you've made in a completely brand new way that wasn't possible before AI. So the entire system revolves around something called Readwise. Readwise is a software I've been using for many years. I'm not sponsored by Readwise to make this video, but it has been one of my favorite apps and I still pay for to this very day. So in step 1 of the system, I've moved away from reading physical books and into using the Kindle. Readwise integrates into the Kindle so that every single highlight that you make gets extracted by Readwise. Readwise also links into an app called Snip, which you're able to listen to podcasts with. Inside Snip, you can tell your phone that you want a 30-second transcription so that you can review the recording later on. Readwise also provides a reader where you can import newsletters via an RSS feed, where you can start to highlight. Readwise has also got plugins for your browser so that when you're reading news online, you can quickly highlight those articles. And so step 2, what Readwise does is that it brings together all the different highlights that you've taken and it stores it online for you in a single location. Readwise Online is quite neat. You can ask Readwise to send to you as a morning email a reminder of some interesting snips, highlights that you've made previously. I personally don't really use that because the next step about creation is so much more powerful. Readwise integrates into Notion, which is a note-taking system where you can output all the different notes so that not only can you start reading it, but you can actually type your own notes around it. You can put through the synthesis of different ideas, you connect different podcasts, etc. together, or connect different books together, so you can start brainstorming big ideas. The biggest change of all in the last couple of months is that Readwise now integrates into Google's NotebookLM. Through NotebookLM, you can start to integrate and link your notes into Google's Gemini, which is an absolute game changer. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to show you a demonstration about how this all works. So remember, I've made highlights inside my Kindle. What Readwise does is that it pulls that information into Readwise and it puts that information into my Google Drive as a Google Doc. So inside the Google Doc, we'll have all the highlights. And what happens then is that inside NotebookLM will pull the Google Doc so that I can start to interact with it. So I'll give you a demonstration now. So here I've got NotebookLM open up. Anyone can sign up for NotebookLM. It's completely free. You just need to have a Google account. So as I create a new session here, is that you can start to see Google Drive as an option under Google Docs. And here I've got my Nexus book and all the highlights inside it. If I open it, I can insert it. And what it does is that NotebookLM will ingest all the notes I've created and start to make sense about all the things I care about inside that book. So inside NotebookLM, it doesn't actually read the entire book. It only sees as much as I've shared from my Kindle as highlights through Readwise. So what I can start to do is I can do neat tricks to start interacting with the book so that I can put it into practice. So I'll show you 2 ways where it's helped me learn the book and start to put it into practice a lot better. The first one is where I asked NotebookLM to create a quiz so that it requires me to recall and test my knowledge of the book. So here I'm asking NotebookLM to create a quiz for me. You can see now Google NotebookLM has created a 17-question multi-choice question set to test my knowledge. I'll go through the different questions and it'll provide me some feedback about what I got right and got wrong. The second method, which I use to better interact with my information to put it into practice, is to start conversing with NotebookLM around a certain topic. So what I'll show you here is that I can test this knowledge and say, well, what does the author of the book think? And we can start a conversation with NotebookLM to start discussing my understanding, and we can start debating and finding things where I can pick up and use. And a final bonus, and one of the ways that NotebookLM can be great is that you can actually use it to create new content. So say I'm really excited about this information, I want to create a LinkedIn article, NotebookLM can help you do that as well. So I've created a prompt here, which I ask it to turn the information and key learnings into a LinkedIn article I can share. As you can see here, it's provided me a suggestion of what a LinkedIn article is. It didn't really understand the word short, but you can start to see that with a bit more prompting, you can create a LinkedIn article, you can create new content quite quickly based on the highlights that you created inside your Kindle. So even if you think about a couple of months back, this was not completely possible. Imagine the ability for you to take up a new book and start to be able to converse with it. This will completely change the way that you're able to take the information inside a book and actually put it into practice. There are many other ways that NotebookLM can help. I haven't shown you all the different methods, but here on the right-hand side, you can see that it can provide you a study guide, it can provide you an FAQ, and for some other kind of documents, you can also create a timeline. If there's a timeline-based one, you can see all the different possibilities that integrating your book into NotebookLM can start to create. It really enables you to engage fully with all the content and really helps you to put your knowledge into place. So hopefully you liked my demonstration and me talking through this new system that I've created. So I really encourage you to start to use this system, sign up for Readwise, start using Kindle, do the highlights and start to really engage with the content through NotebookLM. So if you liked what you saw today about me talking through the system, do like and follow. What I do is that I talk about how technology can really empower your life. There's many ways that we can work smarter through technology. I believe in the future where we can amplify our impact without having to work any harder. So not the toil part, but using technology so that we can leverage our skill sets, our understanding, our knowledge, and use technology to create much more so that we can, share our ideas with the world. All right, that's all for today. See you next time.